In the following tutorial, we're going to take a look at how to use the tutorials on vector graphics from Mike's Sketchpad. Now, this is a great website about animation and drawing basics and other things like that, but they've got some really excellent tutorials on Illustrator and vector graphics. So on the left, click on Illustrator Tutorials, and what I'd like you to do is read the Anatomy of Vector Illustration Part 1 through to the end, basically. And at the end, we have the practice templates, and so that's where we're going to skip to. So make sure that you read the directions here as well, because it's very important that you do this the right way. Now at the bottom, we're going to be using the Illustrator 7 through 9 tutorials, and you can download all of them as one zip right here. Now if you just click on it, it will automatically download to a particular location on your computer, but it's usually smart to right click and choose Save Link As. That way you can choose where to save it. And I'm going to save it in the temp folder on my desktop, so I know where that folder is. Now in Chrome, which I like, I can easily just go right to it just by Show in Folder, so it will show me exactly where it is. But if I'm on a different computer, of course, without Chrome, here we go. I have it in a folder here called Temp on my desktop, and so you just have to choose where to put it. Now I'm going to unzip all the files first, and I have IZARC installed. So with IZARC it's really easy. Just right click, go to Extract to mine, that's Templates AI. And there's the folder. And now Windows Desktop and Set up PDF. Now I don't know why they do that, why they've got it in Windows Desktop, so I'm going to cut those and go back to the main folder and paste them. That way I've got them in the main folder, just in the to my folder. Just kind of a weird thing that they've got set up. Anyway, you've got 7 different PDFs here, and it's very important that you read the first PDF. That's the Setup AI PDF. There it is. Alright, so here's the PDF, and it shows you basically what to do. And I'm going to walk through the same exact setup in the tutorial here. So what we're going to do is open up Illustrator first. And the reason we want to open up Illustrator is because we want to open these files with Illustrator. Now you can go to File, Open, and then navigate to the file, but you can also just drag the file right in. So I'm going to start with the template 1, just drag it right into Illustrator. Once I've dragged it into Illustrator, it will open up the file. Now, if you look at the directions, it's very particular about certain things that you want to do, such as, let's open up all of our panels, and we want to go down to our Layers panel, and the first thing we want to do is lock this layer and create a new layer. That way we're not drawing on top of the other layer. Now you'll notice as we hover over it, we get all of these Smart Guides, and I'm going to turn off Smart Guides. So under View, let's turn off Smart Guides, which is on by default. Over on the left-hand side, you'll see that I've got my default stroke and fill, typically a white fill with a black stroke. And I'm going to change this. So instead, I have no fill, so I can click on Fill and then click on the slash. And then for the black, I'm going to click on the stroke, and I'm going to change it to a bright color, like bright red. That way I can really tell when I am drawing. You'll also see that by default the stroke is set to 1 point. I'm going to beef it up to 2 just so I can make sure it's really obvious. Now the next thing they have you do is click on the Direct Selection tool and then the Pen tool. And the reason you click on the Direct Selection tool before the Pen tool is because that way when you are on the Pen tool and you press down the Control key, if you're on a Mac, it's the Command key, it will go to whatever was the last arrow you were on. And if you're on the black arrow, and then you go to the Pen tool, you press the Control key, you'll see that we'll go to the black arrow. And if you're on the white arrow, then the Pen tool, then we'll go to the white arrow. And we want the Direct Selection tool because it allows us to directly select the points and control points and everything a little bit better. So the way that you proceed with these tutorials is usually zoom in, and I did that with Control Plus. You can also hold down the Alt key and use the mouse wheel. And we want to go to the Pen tool, make sure that we have no fill, our special stroke, and then we're going to click at point 1, then it says Shift click at point 2, Shift click point 3, point 4, point 5, 0.6, and 0.7. Okay, so really easy. That's a very quick tutorial after we've gotten the setup. Now all we have to do is do File, Save As, and we're going to save it in the same folder, but this time we're going to save it as an Illustrator file. And the reason we're saving it as an Illustrator file is so that we can tell that we've done that tutorial. Now we'll go on to the next one. Now you can close the existing file that's there and then drag the next file in, and that's usually the easiest. You'll see it gets a little crazier, and you'll see here we have two different ones, and we need to kind of set it up the same way. So we lock the layer, we create a new layer, we take off our stroke, we change we take off our fill, we change our stroke color to a different color, bright color, and give ourselves a nice, a little bit wider stroke, and then we follow the directions. I'm going to kind of skip to the very end here, and I get to 13, and I want to go on to the end, or to the next one. So the easy way to go on to the next path is hold down the Control key and click once to close that path before we start drawing a new path. And the way we can tell that we're drawing a new path is if you look at the pen tool right here, this icon that's moving, you'll see a small X to the right of it. And that X lets me know that I'm starting a new path. So I'm going to click now, and you'll see that I've got actually just a regular pen without an X, and that lets me know I'm continuing. And I draw all the way around, and then when I come back, you'll see that I get a 0 as I hover over it. It's kind of, there we go, let me move there. That little 0 lets me know that I'm going to close the path if I click. Now I'm ready to start a new path. So when you've got files such as this one, there we go, you have to close the path before you can go and draw a new one. And you'll see that as we go on with the other tutorials, I'm not going to save any of the work here, but as we go on to some of the other tutorials, you'll see that we automatically close our paths later on. Like that one. Oh, actually I think I'm supposed to be using the Shift click and Shift click, Shift click. There we go. Like that. So that one, that particular path automatically closed because of the fact that we had went back over it. Now we didn't do the things we were supposed to do. We didn't create our new layer and change all of our font, our colors and everything else, which is really important to do for all of these assignments. Now what you could do, I don't know if it works or not, but let me try it. I'm going to open up two at once. And if I change my settings, hopefully, since both of these documents are currently open, nope, it's with each document the color settings are there. So you're going to have to do this in each document. You're going to have to go in and do this. Now I'm going to skip to the end of the tutorial, and that's this template 6. I'm going to drag that in, and you'll see this is a multiple page PDF. What I'd like you to use is the first page, and we're going to go ahead and lock and then change all the colors and everything else. And what I'd like you to do is draw the clover, but this time do not use the tutorials. I want you to basically trace this shape and get as close as possible without using a tutorial. Now you'll notice that I'm kind of just drawing quickly and not really worrying about whether or not I'm absolutely perfect or not. And the reason why is because I can come in here and fix this later. So I'm doing this just quickly to make it for the tutorial. There we go. But now I'm going to go to my white arrow, and I can even just switch right over to it. And now I can adjust all of these shapes afterwards. Now if there's a place where I'm missing a point, where I really should have a point, it's not a big deal. We can easily add one. Go back to the pen tool and go somewhere on that shape and click, and you'll add a point. Now I can move that one point over and adjust things even more. So a little bit more fine-tuned control when you add a few more points. But the idea always with vector graphics is to have the lowest number of points possible in order to make a really good, clean, simple graphic. The less points that you have, the less memory it takes up, and the smoother the object is typically. So work on that clover and trying to get it with as few points as possible. And then when you're done with everything, you'll save your work, of course. You'll be saving everything as AI files. And what you can do is you can delete all of the PDF files at that point and leave behind the AI files and turn that in as the tutorial. So make sure that you do save them as AI files, not as PDFs, so that you're not confused about which ones are yours and which ones are the actual tutorials. And then when you double click on your AI file, you should of course be able to open it up with all the changes that you have made. And you'll see instantly, because I made this text red, or this line red, you'll be able to see your changes that you made without any problem at all. So enjoy these tutorials and do realize that they're so important, because understanding vector graphics, how to draw with the pen tool, is really one of the foundation skills that you will use to draw just about everything in Illustrator.